Hey y'all, Kentucky Farmer here, and today I'm back with a quick tutorial video on how to use the Scorpion King. This isn't meant to really be the end-all be-all tutorial on how to use the Scorpion King. This is just some tips that I've picked up along the way and some of the, the technique that I use with it. I had a few questions come up in some of my logging videos, so I wanted to go ahead and cover this. So the first thing you'll notice here is that I've got the boom kind of out in front of me and basically centered with the piece of equipment, and then the cutter head is just kind of slightly off the ground. So then we'll go ahead and turn it on, and I'll bring up my help menu here. So normally when I run this, I'll run it with the help menu open, and another thing to note is that I'm using an Xbox controller, and so this will be different using a keyboard and mouse, and I think it's pretty hard to do this with a keyboard and mouse, and so this is one of the areas in this game where having a controller, either the Steam controller or an Xbox controller or something like that, will really help. And then the ideal scenario, I don't have it as an option, but I know some people do, is if you notice he is using dual joysticks. And so you can actually set this up on a PC using dual joysticks, and it really helps with the ability to control it. So once we've got it turned on, you'll notice that the cutter head's currently closed, so we'll need to open that. So we'll hit X here, and that opens our cutter head. And then what I do is I try and get it lined up so it's basically at the middle there. And I just drive towards the tree, and I'll hold down my left bumper, and what we're looking for up there is we're looking for it to say cut. And so I just kind of drive at the tree there, and so now you can see it says cut, but I want to get the log in the cutter head. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move the cutter head down the tree until you can see it almost takes like a little bit of weight off the front of the Scorpion King there, and making sure that it says cut. So if I'm too far forward like this, sometimes you won't see it say cut. See there? Wait, let's see if we can get it again. So like right there, it doesn't say cut. But if I back off a little bit, now it will. So that could be, some people are having a problem with this. That could be part of the issue, is that you may be getting it too close to the tree. Like you don't want that the boom or the little pivot part at the top to actually be pressed into the tree. You just want the cutter against the tree. So I come up to it like that. Make sure that I've got a little weight off the harvester so that's all the way down on the ground. And then I'll hit A to cut. And so in this case, I want the logs on my right. So as soon as I hit A, I'm going to lift up and pivot to the right. And then I'm going to let the top fall. And then I can just move this a little bit further to the right. And then if you look, our cut length is set at 8 meters. If you wanted to change that, you could do it now. When you first buy this piece of equipment, it's going to be set at 1, and you really don't want to make 1 meter long logs. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to 8, and then I just hold down my left bumper and hit A, and I'll cut a log. And then here I try to make sure I keep them low, right, because it keeps them from rolling around and it keeps the stack neat, but you want to make sure it's just high enough that it won't hit the next log. And then hit A, and then hit A, and there you have it. That's my 3 logs. And then what I do is I pivot back over here. It's kind of odd, one's disappearing. And I kind of set that back on the stump, and that's how I keep it mostly lined up. And then I'm just going to drive up here to the next tree. And I look for it to say cut. I push the weight, I push the cutter head down, take weight off the harvester, hit cut, pick it up, swing it, that's how I cut down trees. So if you notice, this leaves a nice low stump. You can easily drive over this stump, it's no big deal. One thing I wanted to point out here that can get a little complicated is trying to cut these smaller trees. They're kind of a pain because the branches get in the way and you have a hard time seeing what you're doing. But if you just keep your boom center and lined up with the tree, and you keep down on your bumper, you can kind of tell, like, as I get close, you see it says cut, and so then I just kind of again push it down so that I take a little weight off and get the stump nice and low, cut it. And if you notice, the pendulum effect didn't work this time, right? When I picked it up and swung right, the top still went over that way. It's hard to get smaller trees to fall where you want them. But the nice thing is, because they're small, it's pretty easy for the Scorpion King to just kind of move them around, and you can get them wherever you need them then. And then you just cut them like any other tree. So there you have it. That is my quick little tip on how to use the Scorpion King. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, would you please give it a thumbs up? That helps a lot. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more farming simulator videos. I'm Kentucky Farmer. Thanks for watching.